Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here. Welcome back to another video on Sifu. I've spoken about this game on the channel in the past. I'm a massive fan of martial arts. I love my martial arts films and also any kind of game that has a good combat sort of fighting system. Not just fighting games, but even just some of the sort of action-oriented games with like really sort of impactful fighting systems. Anything like that is just my jam. So I want to talk about this because recently they dropped a gameplay presentation to kind of talk a little bit deeper on the actual gameplay system, the way that sort of some of the combat works, also the way the aging mechanic works. Honestly, this game looks so interesting. If you guys like films like The Raid or you played Sleeping Dogs, yo, I feel like this game is going to scratch that itch. So if you guys are excited for this one, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what is your favorite martial arts film. I want to know because I've been going back and rewatching some recently, so you never know, there might be one that I want to add to my list. And of course, if you guys do enjoy this video, drop a like, don't forget to sub, because we will of course be bringing you more stuff from Sifu as we get closer to launch. But first things first, let's talk about the combat. Now keep in mind, this is not a button mashing game. You're not just going to go in and slam buttons and just kind of wail through enemies. You are definitely going to need to be much more sort of thoughtful, because of course there are a lot of interesting elements to combat. Parries you will of course naturally use to deflect attacks. You can of course throw enemies in different directions, but it is of course worth noting, not all attacks should be parried. Some should be evaded, and of course you need to factor this in when it comes to sort of high and low as well. It's not just a case of press the evade button. Some moves you can evade by sort of hopping up, some of them you can evade by dipping low, so there's definitely going to be a lot of, you're really going to need to learn your encounters, learn your enemy types to start mastering those evasions, basically. You of course have a plethora of attacks. You have different properties for kind of controlling encounters. You have pushbacks, knockdowns, stuns, all the kind of stuff that, again, if you guys watch traditional like martial arts films, the kind of things you'll work into those combat sequences. It's not just a case of punch someone and see them go down. Sometimes you have to stun someone, knock them back, trip them up, knock them over. All that kind of stuff, that flow is really what they're trying to encapsulate in this game. There's also a balance system in this game which seems kind of similar to sort of the posture gauge from Sekiro. You basically beat up enemies and you kind of work on their gauge, and of course as you get closer to that gauge dropping down, you can then do finishers, which of course will, surprise surprise, kind of in the name, wrap up that enemy, but they can of course also do the same to you. So the best thing to do in this game is to avoid attacks to kind of get in and recover quickly. Environments in this game, of course, also very interactive. Again, think about, any good martial arts films, like Jackie Chan ones come to mind, Rush Hour, anything like that, where, he's put in a situation where there's a lot of stuff going down and you basically have to start reaching for your environment, picking up pool cues, flipping through ladders, all that kind of stuff. And that is very much going to be present in this game. Again, utilizing your environment, picking up objects, picking up brooms, picking up bottles, whatever it is, throwing people through walls, all that stuff is again going to be present in this game. And of course, with that in mind, managing space in this is also really important. It seems kind of super easy in this game to get overwhelmed, and again, because it's not a button masher, you're not just going to slam a few buttons and just take everyone down. If you get overwhelmed and you're getting tripped up and stuff, it's probably not going to go your way. So you really do want to start learning your placement, learning kind of like the distances, and kind of just sort of like learning the best way to encounter bigger groups. They really want to give players the sense that the split-second sort of decision-making that is present, again, in martial arts films, is also portrayed in Sifu. There's of course also the focus mode, which slows down the game and allows you to select specific strikes. So you can kind of use this as like a, sort of the same thing you might use on like a bigger, more sort of like boss focused character, kind of as a way to just like focus on those pinpoints and take them down. It builds up as you fight, so you can kind of use this as a resource if things start to get hairy. However, on top of that, of course, you are also not only combating the enemies, but you are combating old age. The game features an aging mechanic, and they wanted players to experience training and sort of self-improvement. So what they did is they made death a part of the journey. You basically have an ancient talisman, which allows you to rise up, but it will also age you. So effectively, anytime you die, you're coming back, but you're coming back at an older age. It allows you to spend your XP on skills, but it also comes at a cost. The more you die, the faster you age, exponentially it seems. It seems like you get to sort of hold on to information on each of the targets that you're trying to take down, even if you die permanently. So some kind of like long-term progression. But of course, things like shortcuts, weapon locations, all those kind of things, you of course will learn them on your next time around. So even if you don't get a complete run, think of it kind of like, I don't know, playing Deathloop recently, where of course you're trying to work through and learn the target locations. Even if you mess up, you can then of course take that information back into your next run to do better. So again, slowly it's about kind of accumulating that knowledge as you go, till eventually you get your good run. Be really interesting to see, of course, once you do get so good, whether a no death run is gonna be possible, whether you can kind of just like work your way through. Honestly, I feel like this is probably gonna be one of those games where seeing it speed run or seeing it being played by someone that like knows the enemies back to back is going to be very impressive to see. But for the time being, that is pretty much it. That's what we currently have on Sifu. Again, looking incredibly cool. Honestly, this is just my jam. Like, I like these kind of games, and this looks super cool. I loved Sleeping Dogs back in the day. Admittedly, different kind of game, but yo, I still feel like it was a crying shame that Sleeping Dogs never came back. So this kind of giving me that combat feel, albeit a little bit deeper, I'm excited for. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know again in the comments down below what you think, and do keep it locked for plenty more, because once I get to go hands-on, I'll be bringing you some expert gameplay. We'll see, maybe. Anyway, I'll bring you some gameplay. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to catch more from us, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest uploads. And if you want somewhere to hang out, play games, or chat all things from games to anime, food to fitness, consider joining the HyperX Gaming Discord.